Before we get into this week's episode, of course, thank you to our sponsors that help us bring this to you for free each and every week. Thanks to Angelo's Pizza. We have plenty of pizza for you on the days of our shows. And if you want to try out more than their pizza, which is award-winning, but they've got plenty of other delicious dishes as well, check out Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. Thanks, of course, to Pollyanna DIY, who has some amazing throwback t-shirts, I guess is what we've decided to call them. It's probably a good description, as well as other custom items that you can grab. So check out Pollyanna DIY. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, who handles all of our video recording needs at our live events, so that you can either purchase it and watch it for the first time on DVD or MP4, or watch it back in case you were there live and you want to watch it again. Check out smartmarkvideo.com or smvod.com for some of our instant playbacks on a digital download stream. And while we talk about streaming, of course, thanks to our friends over at independentwrestling.tv, make sure you subscribe using the code ABSOLUTE, get a 20-day free trial, and check out all sorts of things from the AIW archives, as well as plenty of other independent wrestling promotions as well. With that, we get into this week's episode. We are talking about JLIT, the 2019 JT Lightning Invitational Tournament that took place in June. And it was a 3-show, 2-day affair.
I hope you guys remember this, because it's going to take some time.
Yeah, we'll power through it and as much as we can remember. But we were joined by the 6-figure man, the Duke.
What's up?
Maserati Wes Barkley.
Yes, sir.
Alex Worldwide Keller.
5 figures.
The 3-figure man.
5 figures, but 4 come after the decimal point.
As always, AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. And, at one point we talked about the almost booked people in JLIT. Go back. That's an episode that was leading into the weekend, so we won't cover that. If you're curious about those things, definitely check out those prior episodes. But, JLIT live from the Odeon, John, we decided to stream it on Fight TV.
We did. We did decide to stream it, which, there is a whole other element of stress that comes with doing the show when you have to go live at a certain time. I'll tell you what, that's, now that this is becoming more of a habit, it is stressful.
Well, you got your duster, you've got your earpiece. What else do you need?
Oh, no duster yet.
You wear your duster in the wintertime.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll have to get one. You guys will have to get me one.
You got your duster, your earpiece. You need like a whiteboard in the back or something, maybe, to
hat with a ponytail
to do some rewrites.
I would. That might help, that dry erase board, because when we have to reshuffle things, it is like I need to look at it, and it's like.
I seem to remember this. I know there was a cancellation or somebody couldn't make it. But I thought it went pretty smooth.
It did. Night 1 went pretty smooth, I think. I don't think anything crazy. Nobody with... the only cancellation was Colt Cabana because he had an injury. We had a...
Right, and Colin stepped up.
His leg. So Colin Delaney keeping the streak alive.
Right.
Yeah, it was about to be the first year that he wasn't in it, right?
Yep.
Right. And he was very upset, and then...
So you think Colin got up to some nefarious shit with Colt, or what's going on there?
No, he had... I'm trying to think. Something was wrong with Colt to where he had to cancel off like a whole...
He had his leg. He had a serious injury to
it was
his knee or something or whatever.
It was like hip or like interior hip or
is that what it was?
I think he had a hematoma in his
I think it was a hematoma in
some
his
type
leg,
of noma.
Yeah.
But he was still trying to do it until...
He's a pro. It's Colt Cabana.
2 days before, and he's just like, he's like, I can't do it. He was considering coming and just getting rolled up, and I was like, dude, if you can't even walk, you know what I mean?
Don't drive 6 hours just to get rolled up.
Right.
Yeah. Or 12 hours, I guess.
Fly. Sometimes he flies because it's like a 45-minute flight, but I was like, I don't even know if you should be flying with that.
Yeah. Not a hematoma like that.
Right.
No.
Yeah, no.
So
that's basically a blood clot. I mean, it could go anywhere.
I'm trying to think how my day.
Not that I'm a doctor.
How my day started. We
got in there the night before. That was nice. We had everything set up.
We set up.
Chairs came.
I had to go check everybody into the hotel. Dave the Potato was on pickup duty, which is, that's always
That's a crapshoot right
that's
there.
always a crapshoot.
Was this the weekend that we went to that one spot in the flats like a million times?
Oh, Lindy's?
Yeah, Lindy's Lake
Oh,
House.
yeah,
ate
Lindy's
there,
Lake
yeah.
House. Hell yeah.
Yeah, good steak there. I had a
Yeah.
good. Okay, so this is bringing back some.
Well, this
bringing
was
back some-
actually-
Oh, the steak kicked it in.
Yeah.
The three.
Screw you, vegans. See what happens?
Me, and Wes had ourselves a meal at
Margaritaville. the night-
Margaritaville the night on Thursday night.
Forgot about that.
I did too.
Forgot
That's
about
right.
that. That was a while ago.
after we set up.
After we set everything up, we were
That
like,
was a
yeah,
good-
let's go eat some food.
Is that like super like Jimmy Buffett, like in your face? Because I hate that dude.
Great chicken tenders though.
Yeah.
Chicken
Yeah,
tenders
we
were
all
good.
got. Oh, they were massive.
Yeah.
They rival the chicken planks at Long John Silver. I'll tell you that.
I had Long John Silver's over the weekend for 2 days. It was great. I walked in. I said, "Give me all the chicken humanly possible."
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, Margaritaville though they got the water floors, so it looks like you're in water the whole time. And they
Oh,
got
yeah.
the-
But is it like over the top with Jimmy Buffett shit?
yeah, he's playing
Oh, yeah.
concerts and
Is-
stuff.
oh, fuck, I can't stand that guy.
I mean, it's a good atmosphere. It's exactly what
We're-
I
we're
needed
just-
the Thursday before.
We're just
Yeah.
breezing over the Duke's life hack though. Chicken planks from Long John Silver's.
Oh, the best thing ever, man.
That's a life hack.
I remember I saw a sign that they had dollar tacos on Tuesday or something. You ever fuck with those?
At Long John Silver?
Margaritaville?
No, Long John Silver's.
No, there isn't one around me. So I happened to be at Parma Tavern.
Yeah.
And I was going home.
That one on Brook Park or
Yeah,
whatever?
that's the one I stopped at. Like 20 minutes before they closed. I'm sure they were all pissed. But I was like, just give me all the chicken you have.
That is one thing I
I
miss
felt like
about-
Ron Swanson ordering all the bacon and eggs you have. That's
That is
basically
what I
it
miss
was.
about living out in Menor is I'd go to the fucking Arthur Treachers at the Great Lakes Mall. Arthur
too.
Treachers,
They're-
the truth.
They're a close second. for
Fish
chicken
places,
places.
they got good chicken tenders.
I know they do for some reason.
It's because that good, like the oil's all like nice and fished out. Fucking something with the chicken.
Fish oil.
fish oil. It's good for you.
Omegas.
They sell it at GNC. It's fish oil. That's got to be good for you.
That's true.
Is that the new sponsor?
Fish oil and chicken. How can those two things not be good for you, Wes Barkley?
I'm with you. I take them both every day. Fish oils.
Chickens.
Art cell. Yeah.
Okay, so
I feel like they're.
I get some stuff smells like fish.
I feel like they're. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And there we are.
okay.
So
So we set up the chairs.
nothing to put us
and-
back on track.
So anyway, we set up on Thursday. We have a meal, and then I think I don't remember when Swoggle got in, but I know I had to get him. But so Kid Kash, I believe, was the first to land, if I'm not mistaken, and we didn't know when we could get into the
That
hotels.
sounds right. Yeah.
So I had Dave the Potato playing, like stalling him, and he is a crabby guy. But like, this is
Doing
where
what though?
this is where the potato comes into play, because like the guy could get mad at him. Like if it's me driving him around and I got no way to stall him.
How did he stall him?
He was just like, "You want to go to breakfast? You
Was
want to
he
go to a
shilling
gym?"
him? Was he trying to sell him 8x10s?
I think he's taking
Probably
him.
missing turn.
He's taking him to a gym.
Blaming it on the direction.
So
I don't know what's going on with my GPS. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Cash, Mr. Kid.
So I go to the Howard Johnson, and I'm like, because I'm trying to get a hold of Steve Guy, and I think you didn't have your phone or whatever, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drive there. And like right when I pulled in, you told me that you got a hold of him or whatever, so I was like, I just need one room right now, like one
Yeah.
room. And I'm telling Potato, I'm like, all right, man, I got the room, and so I ended up checking in all the rooms or whatever, that's a whole task, is like assigning, sleeping
How early did
arrangements.
you get in?
How early did I get there?
How early did
it was early. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
No, it was way earlier than that. It was like
Was it like
8:30.
they gave you a
Oh,
room at
okay.
8:30?
Yes.
Oh.
Was it that early?
That
Yeah.
rivals the greatness of Holiday Inn Express.
So Potato pulls in his potato van, and Kid Kash gets
Potato-mobile.
out. Kid Kash gets out in the tightest T-shirt I've ever seen on a human, a New Japan Young Lion T-shirt, extra small, just looking jacked to the gills. And I go to introduce myself, and he's just like, "What's up with that fucking 5 a.m. flight, bro?" I was like, "Hey man, there's not a lot that comes out of Knoxville to Cleveland." He's like, "Oh fuck that." And he was-
Knoxville.
Yeah, that's where he came from. So he was all wound up about his flight, and I was like, oh. Plus, Potato stalling him, so I was like, oh, who knows how this is gonna go. And then I ended up getting Hornswoggle. I think we hit Sheets, and I don't know what happens next, but I do know that. I tell
Swoggle
Hornswoggle.
takes a nap on your couch. That's probably what happens next.
No, so I was like, Swoggle got all mad. I was like, let's go down to the flats. You know, we might as well find a good spot to park, walk around. You know, there's bars, there's restaurants. And I was like, I believe they got a water taxi. He's like, oh, water taxi. He's like, he wants to go.
That's right.
He wanted to go to Shooters.
You want to go Shooters, yeah.
He wanted to go to Shooters because we went to Shooters before. And he was like, let's go back to Shooters. And I was like, well, let's park by the Odeon, and we'll take the water taxi across the water, you know, to Shooters.
Water
What?
taxi was working that day.
It was not.
It was not at that hour.
No. Because at the time...
Well, Saturday, I walked by and there was two dudes working it, and they wished me Happy Father's Day. And I was just like, all right, thanks, man.
There were a couple of high-level
Duke
water
that
days.
is.
What's that?
There were some high water days there,
Oh,
and they had to
okay.
let it like subside or whatever.
Well, it
Gotta
wasn't.
stop flushing their weed.
I don't think it was that. I think it was on Fridays. They don't start running it until like
until later in the evening, maybe. Yeah.
the evening. You know, after work
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
So
that makes
Swoggle was all wound up.
Just toss him in there, let him swim.
And then we went to Lindy's Lake House, got a good steak, and I don't know who was there with us. I know Worldwide showed up,
Yeah.
and
popped over.
Swoggle was buying everybody goddamn fireballs.
yeah, Swoggle just started with the fireball shots. I'm like, man, it is
Man.
11 a.m. or 12 p.m. and I'm like,
I left before that.
I gotta go live
Look
soon.
at you.
I gotta go live soon.
7.5 hours before you go live. You can't have one shot?
Come on, man.
What, you an old man?
I gotta keep my fucking brain focused. You know,
It's night one, dude.
night one. So then,
Swoggle got to perform.
well,
He's doing shot. Well, sort of.
sort of. We end up
Best-selling author.
bar hopping a little bit. Me and Worldwide got involved in a really rigorous game of Jenga.
Oh yeah, that was a rough
Giant
one.
Jenga or regular size Jenga?
It was pretty big ass Jenga.
Mid-size, not
Yeah.
the big, but like mid-level Jenga.
Okay.
And then Swoggle and Colin Delaney are like, who knew they're like bocce ball fanatics.
I love bocce.
They found a bocce ball bar and they were just
Nice.
going nuts. And this is probably the only story that's worthwhile pre-show. The waitress at Dante's Inferno in the flats, you know, so we're ordering her on a drinks, and she goes, "Oh, it's so good to see you again. I waited on you before." And he's like, I don't think so. She's like, "You're not Hornswoggle?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I waited on you, the Miz, and the Miz's father at Applebee's on Father's Day, like 7 years ago."
Wow.
And I was like, "Man, that is a good story."
Wow.
Now you want that story.
Yeah. So, well, that's. I mean,
That explains how the Mrs. Dad would Swoggle
about
left
to
us some
say.
tickets at the door.
Right.
Yeah.
All full
Yeah.
circle, man.
There it is.
So anyway, we go and I believe we get the show going. I don't think that there was too much pre-show drama or anything like that.
No,
No,
everybody was there.
Everybody was there on time.
Everything was set up. I think. I don't.
Nothing
I don't think there was
crazy.
anything. Yeah.
We didn't have anybody that we had to sneak in or anything.
Well, we did have to sneak Newfound Glory.
I was gonna say the only people we had to sneak in was
Fun
Newfound
story
Glory.
about sneaking in Newfound Glory. You had me all on like Newfound Glory duty, like, oh, make sure like no one fucks with them and this and that. And they showed up, and like I was like all outside, and like a few people came up for pictures, and then like I was like, oh, do you want me to like abscond you to like the upstairs so that no one hassles you? They're like, no, we don't give a shit,
Yeah, they were super cool.
and they just went in there.
Yeah, and somebody eventually took them to the back so they could talk to Swoggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were cool. They sent out a bunch of stuff about us on social media.
Probably know some of their shit, but if
My
they
friend's
walked right,
over you.
If they walked right by me, I wouldn't go. Oh, there's
Well,
Newfound Glory.
Swoggle's
Taller
his-
than you
the
think.
music he comes out to is Newfound Glory.
Ah, okay.
So it's a big thing there. Those are his pals.
Oh, okay.
And then that wasn't the only band that showed up that night, right?
Yeah, Real Friends
Real
also
Friends
showed
came
up.
in later, but they were opening.
Yeah, they were on the same tour.
Yeah, so they were opening, and while they were playing, Newfound Glory was at the Odeon, and then when Newfound Glory left to go over there to play, Real
'cause
Friends came over.
Swoggle and
Swoggle and Nick Sanka
Abandoned ship.
They abandoned ship to go hang out in the green room at the House of Blues with
They
Yeah.
were
Newfound
on.
Glory.
They were stage side, weren't they?
Well, they were in the green room all fucking night, eating catering and
Don't
shit.
give Nick
Sanka was in
Zanka.
hog heaven.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he loves Newfound Glory.
Nick Zanka no longer having bartending duties. He just
Yeah, he's
takes
like,
off. Forget it.
Swoggle's like, yeah, you care if I get out of here? And I was like, go for it, man. I don't know, just
You already bailed on night two.
right.
Might as well get out of here now, pal.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna book him because he took some weird booking in like Vancouver on day 2, and I was like, no spoilers, man. I can't have it.
Yeah.
But it when we were putting the tournament together, it was becoming more difficult to fill those spots. So I said, all right, I'll let it slide for budgetary purposes, so I don't have to pay another person on night 2.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about Colin Delaney filling in for Cole Cabana, he actually ends up leading off the night with Lee Moriarty. And
and Colin is, I've said it a million times, Colin is a guy that he can really test somebody's, skill set within the ring, especially somebody new to AIW, and he knows what the expectation is, and they have a very good match.
they did. It was quicker, I think, than you thought it was going to be.
Oh, see, I would have went the other way.
No, these guys are consummate professional. Colin Delaney.
Hey, with this is what I'll say. We had 12 matches because that's how you have to do it. For the way the tournament's set up, and this show flew for having 12 matches.
Yeah, it did. I guess I was just waiting. Anytime you're waiting, you always think people are going longer than maybe they are because you're just like
second. You were second.
No. We were
he was
5th, but I mean, it's just we're just waiting to get there
because we were third.
Yeah,
and I felt like that too.
Yeah, it actually wasn't bad. I think 12 matches.
Yeah, it was
and we
cruising.
still clocked in at like just over 3 hours,
Yeah.
maybe for that.
when
whole
you go
show.
live, that's what happens.
That's right, man.
Live TV, baby.
Match 2, actually, speaking of Swoggle, was Swoggle and Pat Buck, who just earned himself a sweet new gig.
Hey,
Speaking of,
hey.
It's got some nice headgear. I was
That
not.
Gage.
I was not prepared for
how about that
Bird
picture?
Gage?
That picture
Yeah.
of Josh Bishop.
JV.
So here,
I was not prepared. How do you travel with that?
You got a guy. He
Yeah,
has
how
a
do you-
bird cage and a chainsaw hand.
So here's a funny story on that, which we'll jump around a little bit. But he does not wear the birdcage on night 1.
No.
And at the after party at Nax, Pat Buck superfan Nick Sanka says, "What? AIW's not good enough for the birdcage, man? Like you can't do the whole."
The birdcage was out night 2. I remember that.
So that's why. That's why though.
Oh,
is because
if he brought it, why wouldn't he wear it?
I don't know. Maybe he was going for something
I
different
think he
that
was
night.
just saving it for night 2.
Maybe.
Dick Sanka gave him a hard time at Nax, and there that birdcage was bright and early on day
He had
2.
more of like the Army of Darkness deal going on night 1. He had the leather jacket, I think.
Yeah,
had the
and the
chainsaw.
chain- it was
hand,
just- it was
old
quite the
Bruce
display.
Campbell action there.
It was quite the display.
It was, both nights. It was something.
and Swoggle had some gear on too, right? He was.
Oh, that's right. That's
Phenomenal.
right. The phenomenal.
Oh, 0.5, yeah.
It's supposed to be phenomenal 0.5, but he was upset about that. He says 1.5.
That's
I'm
what-
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he.
Did he just discover that he's shorter than everybody else?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. Even though he was in on the joke, he decided he still had to be the 1.5.
I believe he.
Or maybe he don't understand how fractions work. I'm not sure.
I believe he borrowed his son Landon's AJ Styles
I
gloves.
think he did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
If we still had Kurt Hertz around.
Oh, that's true.
Did they had the hood going, man? He was ready to go.
He was
Whipped
ready
that
to
hood
rock.
off, and I thought he was going to pull off that
I didn't
phenomenal.
want none.
Did you think he was going to pull off the
I
phenomenal?
wanted a
forearm?
little.
He teased
I thought
it.
he did a 450.
He
Didn't he, do a
teased. He
450?
teased the forearm.
He didn't
man.
do a springboard 450.
Nah, I couldn't get it. Couldn't
Well, check
get
it out on Fight TV if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
See if I'm
Buy
wrong.
that replay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also I should say this before I forget the shill. JLIT the whole weekend is available in a Blu-ray complete pack, and it's also being sold in a DVD complete pack. $30 for all 3 shows.
That is
Wow.
a deal. And where can you get that at? Smart Mark Video?
SmartMark
Hell yeah.
.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this match had to go on early though, based around the possibility of Newfound Glory showing up, because they had to play.
Get that whiteboard
But
out.
they wanted to see their boy.
You found glory, motherfucker, on the whiteboard.
So they wanted to come see Swoggle, but they had to play. I think they went on stage at like 9:30 or 10.
And they were at House of Blues?
Yeah.
which is
Which
very
is-
close. It's on East 4th.
Yeah, it's still a little bit. With the way the traffic situation and the parking situation works, it's probably a little.
Yeah, I think they just Ubered back and forth, but
Yeah.
so that's why I was like, well, I won't put them on first just in case they show up late. So I'll put them on second, and hopefully that's right in the sweet spot. And they ended up coming right before we went live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the sun was still out.
Yeah, it was, which was super weird. But yeah, so that's why this was on early. I thought this was a really good match. I mean, Pat Buck was, like I said, he was the guy that Nick Sanko was on me to book all the time because he loved him when he was the co-host of the Ryback podcast. But he was definitely a good asset for the weekend. I'll say that, and you kind of can now, looking back in retrospect, you could see how that guy wound up with that job that he has right now.
He's doing well. Used it as a precursor, I suppose. And it was good.
Do you think he brings the birdcage to the PC?
He's not at the PC. He's on the road.
He's on the road.
Oh, he's on the road?
Yeah. It's the main roster.
Oh, yeah? Oh, what is he, like?
He's an agent. Yeah.
Agent? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does he bring the birdcage? It's like punishment if somebody fucks up, you got to wear the birdcage?
I think he might wear it in those production meetings with Vince.
This is character development, folks.
Match just gets all fucking zooted on pre-workout, and he's like, "Put the cage on," and he's just pawing at it like a cat.
He greases himself up and puts that big chain on and then puts the cage on.
Let me get a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Match 3, Wes Barkley, you got a ringside view there. The
Front row
intense
seats.
icon, Josh Bishop, and
Okay, let's do
Trey
a little,
Lamar.
Yeah, sorry, Trey Lamar versus Josh Bishop. But let's do a little fact check. Fact or fiction? Did I call the win?
You
Probably.
called
it.
I'm going to assume you didn't say he was going to lose.
Well, yeah, you did call that one because you
Called a win.
You said that Josh Bishop was going to win the whole thing.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We didn't lose.
you guys.
Hey,
More on that later.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
I'm just bringing back all the things that you predicted. You said Josh Bishop wins it all.
We'll get there.
Said you guys win the tag tournament. These were all your predictions from that show.
We'll get
More
there.
on
but
those when we
I
get to
think
them.
I was,
The episodes, but
I think it was about.
I'm going to spoiler alert. Wes Barkley is going to predict Josh is going to win every match he's ever been in, or it will be in.
Good
gotta
minds
throw
think
that
alike,
out there,
right?
yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Hey,
Great
man.
managers think alike.
yeah.
Hey, sometimes you just misread the call sheet.
Sometimes it's a whiteboard. It's up for.
that could be a movie. You
up
just
for
start
revision.
like
Might have
making
been smeared a
fake
little
call
bit.
sheets.
Yeah.
Hard to see.
Oh, the fake call sheet? That would... It ends up all changing anyway, and Jay Clemens winds up with the only master copy and walk around and tell everybody the switches.
You're just there like
Good. And tell Ed Batts to go talk to Jake when he wants to know what the changes are.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Ed Batts, stay out of the fucking locker room. You come in at the most stressful times and you ask me questions and you're not even supposed to fucking be there. Get the fuck out of the locker room. Stay out of the locker room. Everybody, stay out of the fucking locker room. Makes me mad. I'd barely even go into the fucking locker room.
But these two,
Sacred.
the actual match, Josh and Trey, they impressed. I don't know if any. Did you get to see it, dude?
I was actually backstage. I was by Traxler in his gravitational pull when they were wrestling.
They took some of his this no consequences hostility that had maybe been brewing over time when they
Definitely.
used to be running.
I thought this match was very good.
Yeah. So did I.
But I thought that, Trey probably should have... Trey tried to stand toe-to-toe, and it did not work out very well for him. And you could tell that throughout, as the match progresses on.
Trey very proud of the gains, as he would call it, that he has had, and but he doesn't realize he's not quite as big as Josh. That's still.
I do think, and I will stand by this, that the crazy fucking Bishop Black Hole Slam probably should have been the finish, as opposed.
What did I tell you guys when you came back from the curtain?
as opposed to
I
trying
don't know,
to walk up to the top rope with
Taking over
Trey.
there.
What did I tell Josh? And you were there. What did I tell Josh and Trey when they walked through the curtain? Well, just
I got
repeat.
short-term memory
Just repeat what
loss,
man. 2 months
Thorne
ago.
just said.
Yeah.
Black Hole Slam should have been the
No,
finish.
for sure, that was sick.
It got the best reaction.
Yep.
And it was out of nowhere, but you guys wanted
Those dudes tore it up though. They had a lot to prove.
Well,
I'm gonna take you guys behind the curtain. That thing feels amazing. It'll fucking realign your spine. So good.
well, all right.
We'll talk.
No words there. Then we roll into match number 4 on the night. MJF comes out and just starts spewing bullshit as he can.
Full disclosure, though, as Zack Ryder likes to say all the time on his Major Wrestling podcast vlog, full disclosure, this is the night after Twan debuts at NXT.
Correct.
So NX Twan chants are running wild.
They
then,
are going crazy.
Not only NXT. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the only audible that I recall being
Yes.
called is, you guys got to turn on. Like, you guys got to break up tonight because Twan is going to be so over based on how people were talking on Twitter and stuff. Because it was supposed to be MJF versus Josh Prohibition at Absolution, and Josh just couldn't do JLIT, and we were going to build to it in promos. But I was just like, I'm sorry, Josh, we got to, you know what I mean? Like, once I saw how people were reacting to Twan on going to NXT, I was like, he's going to be fucking so over. And sure enough, luckily enough, I was right, because as soon as Twan walked through that curtain, people are just
NXT
going
Twan
nuts for
chants
Twan.
Just were,
and they love
definite.
Twan, and then MJF, doing his thing, talking his talk, everything else. Then John Thorne's new best friend comes out to confront MJF, who
Savio Vega.
You guys were inseparable.
We were inseparable. Now more things are starting to come back to me. Yeah, Savio was man. He's looking for a full-time contract.
I know. Yeah,
he was.
You guys were at the commentary booth together. You had that.
I couldn't shake him.
After party. Every time you turn around, it's popping up. Hey, what's up?
He said,
"What's up, amigo?" Or whatever he said. I don't know. I'm guessing it was amigo.
This is a quote. He says, "Amigo."
See, I was right.
I look around. This is beautiful, man. You bring me in. I teach you little things because, trust me, brother, you got a monster on your hands here. And I was like, he's like, we'll get you ready for television. And there's a photo that Monsoon Classic took. I had the fight feed on my phone, and I was showing it to him as we were live.
Yeah.
And he was giving me all these little television terms. And he's like, brother, you got a monster on your
He was
hands.
dropping knowledge, is what he was doing. He
I
wasn't
mean,
giving you terms.
Right.
I'm sure he has a lot. I'm sure he has a lot of knowledge, right? But he was definitely looking for additional paydays as well. He had Pedro. He had every chance he got. He was reeling me in. He wanted to know what kind of story I wanted them to tell tonight.
That's right.
So MJF was supposed to advance here. Has to go do things with Cody or something for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it's
so,
a YouTube
literally.
So
Housewarming party, right?
I don't know, some sort of YouTube thing.
So he has to go film with Cody. So Savio Vega, it actually worked out because I couldn't find anything to do with Savio Vega on night 2 if he was going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
So this ends up working out. And Savio Vega brought the fucking work boots this weekend.
Yep.
I'll tell you
I was
that.
going to say,
For sure.
Have you... had you expected the Quang kick to land as well as it did in 2019?
I did not, and I was very disappointed that I wanted him to bring the Quang outfit, but he said he does not have it anymore. But maybe we can get that, something
Well, that's
customed up.
So Savio, you want to come back? You got to quang it up for me.
He did. We did make Quang 8x10s, and he did sign them for me. So
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But this is good, and MJF was very happy with it. Savio worked extremely hard, especially for his age.
Yeah.
And then we do the the breakup of Twan and MJF, which the people are hot for.
Yeah. Well, people didn't really like that loogie that MJF worked up.
It was messed up.
Not a fan of that myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
I don't like that.
Ooh, right on the side of Twan's head.
Yeah.
That was
I think there was a lot of spitting on the show.
It was. I
And
saw
it's just
somebody
like,
say
come on,
something
guys,
Where
like
would that-
let's reel in the spitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Under those lights, you could really see it. Pretty gross. Oh, anyway, moving on. The rules relax a little bit because everybody was talking about Dr. Deathmatch.
This is my pick to win.
Yeah.
This is my pick.
At least Wes Barkley has a good shot when he's picking Josh Bishop. What are you doing picking Dr. Dan and his
take on-
hairpiece? Come on.
I don't know why. I must have been overly tired one night or something, but I did a deep dive on Dr. Dan's fucking personal Facebook, and I went I went all the way down
There
to
were some high school pictures.
to like the first pictures, and I was just
and there was
What's the
some
Jaeger one?
disturbing footage that you were pulling out of there.
What's that Jaeger one? What was it? Fear the Deer.
Oh, it was
Fear the Deer.
You're the deer.
it was a Halloween costume.
costume,
Right?
yeah.
Fear the Deer. Dr. Dan's winning it all.
Not to mention his dance moves from Derek's
Oh, yeah.
wedding.
Oh,
Yeah,
was making
I was
his
just
way.
I don't know why, but like with the stress of if we were going to do enough buys and the whole weekend. This was, for some odd reason, just entertaining myself so much. I didn't even know if anybody
It was
cared.
frightening. I mean, it was.
That was wild.
And like Dan had no idea. Dan would be like, where'd you find that at?
Oh, I know exactly
The one when he
why-
was in like high school and study hall, trying to look all badass in his like
with his bandana
his
on.
golf shirt and his bandana or some weird ass fucking thing.
I know exactly
Yeah.
why Dr. Dan was your target, but I won't say here.
Okay, well, you'll have to remind me.
Patreon exclusive.
Patreon exclusive. That's right.
I'll just say it was a
Behind the scenes.
It was a ring crew issue.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Dr. Dan he signed Frankie Flynn, the guy without a license, the head of ring crew.
Oh, out at the convention.
Yeah.
The week before
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It's like I don't.
We had a bit of a snafu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was a little bit of a
That's what I call it. I'll call it a snafu.
They forgot half the most important parts of the ring.
little snafu.
2
But
hour,
we fixed
hour
it.
and a half away.
Luckily, we
Jeez.
fixed it.
Yep.
But yeah, Dr. Dan comes. This match is great.
Comes
actually.
out guns a-blazing here.
Sweet
He's
man.
just waiting
is.
there while
It's a-
Duke, you're out there. You come out there with Mance Warner.
Yeah,
And,
Dan's out there doing his shtick, and he's ready to. He's got a chair. He's ready to go.
He was ready, man.
with relaxed rules, and Mance gets in the ring. He's halfway in the ring. Dr. Dan kicks the ropes and throws Sabu's me with a chair.
Yeah.
and we're off and running, man.
He hits his twisted bliss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was freaking out. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, is
Hang
this going to
time.
be is Dr. Dan about to squash Mance Warner?"
And
Dr. Hang time.
the people were biting for everything Dr. Dan was doing too.
They were. They were like,
Because-
this is it.
Because I think people thought, you know what, they might just put Dr. Dan over Mance Warner here.
Not
Yeah.
happening. Not with me out there. Come on.
Dr. Dan
Right.
takes a couple staples, multiple staples. Many.
Dr. Dan trying to cheat. I stop from cheating. I channel my inner Oliver Humperdinck as babyface manager and kick his feet off the ropes.
There you go.
People were.
Dr. Dan gets kicked so hard in the face at one point when he's on the
yeah.
ground. It was disturbing. Like I was
think-
up in the balcony
Okay, I was
and I grabbed the railing and I was like, "Oh my god, he has no teeth."
I was 2 feet away, so I was way closer, and that was kind of my reaction. But that was my reaction. I'll just say that
There it
behind
is.
the curtain,
It was.
We
yeah,
keep it behind the
was,
curtain.
It was something. Yeah, the crowd,
and it was something, and we got in and we got out.
crowd was crazy
Yeah.
for babyface Duke, man.
They were. I talk about biting. I fish those fuckers
More on
in.
that later.
Reeling and dealing.
Then we roll into KTB and Flip Kendrick, and I mean, what a mammoth of a man. KTB shows up from the woods.
From the woods.
Flip Kendrick, always the ace, always pulling out some crazy innovative shit.
Yeah. TKO off the second rope.
Yeah, it was a good
Flip got
crazy
there.
match.
Okay, so this Flip got there really late. I remember that
He did.
because he couldn't find anywhere to park.
That's what it was. It was just parking
Makes
for
sense.
him.
So like they did not have a lot of
As
time.
I was looking at this, I'm like, there's a reason something happened here in this one. Yep, there you go. But they did great with the time that they had.
Yeah, it was a sweet match.
And then we go into Marko Stunt and Tim Donst. How'd you see this one going?
I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
You weren't sure how it was going to go?
You know, Marko Stunt was, I think, the last. I think he was the
Seems like
last
the
guy
last edition, yeah.
booked.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of how the chips fell on how we were going to do it, and you know, like it could have went either way. I thought they did some pretty brutal stuff though. Traxler played his Marko Stunt's MLW theme song though, which kind of threw everything off. I think
Freaking Traxler.
People didn't know who was coming out.
that's my bad. I didn't. You know,
Whiteboard.
I should have.
We need a
Whiteboard
whiteboard.
with the theme.
Clearly, we've established we need a whiteboard. We got a lot of
fixed with the
mistakes.
It's fixed night 2, though.
But yeah, you know, he needed that Pat Benatar. That's why I specifically said when I sent the call sheet for Russell Rage.
Which one is it again?
What's that? It's like Pat Benatar.
We Belong. Yeah,
We
okay.
Belong.
She's got some classics. I just had to
got
make
some
sure
hits.
which one it was.
Pat Benatar.
I don't know if it was Love Is a Battlefield or
Fun fact: you take the 45 RPM 7-inch of a Heartbreaker and you play it at 33. It sounds like Black Sabbath. It rules.
okay.
That's,
Life hack.
You know, we're not only telling you guys the goings on behind the scenes of this company. We're giving you guys information you can use every day.
Yes.
I go backwards one match. Flip Kendrick, KTB. I forgot that moving into like right in front of the stage was Flip's whole family came in. So that's part of why he got there late, because he came in. Yeah, like
they have like family that lives around here, and
yeah, it was like aunts, uncles, and then like or siblings or something. I think they were like nieces and stuff. Was that night 2 they came in?
No, night 1. Yeah, it was night 1.
What day was that? We're talking about crowd.
Mr. Miz. That was the May show.
May
the rap
7th.
show.
That was the balcony
I'm
show.
getting them all mixed up.
But we're sitting there, and it was like pure. I don't know how to explain it, but you know how you enjoyed wrestling as a kid. That's what these kids were, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, well,
watching.
Oh
them.
yeah,
They don't know KTB.
Savio Vega when he was like, "Watch this, brother." It's when the Flip Kendrick, Lewis Lyndon families were leaving.
Yeah,
it's when Savio had me in his fucking pool, you know, and he's like, "Watch this, brother." And he's taking free pictures with the kids. He's like, "That's what I do, man."
The KTB's like up on the top rope, and they're like, "Push him off, Flip! Push him off!" And like just like your typical.
So the innocence of
kid.
youth is what you're trying to get
across.
across.
It was unbelievable, and I loved the whole thing. But yeah, so then we go Marko, Stunt, Tim Donst, and then after that we go Kid Kash. Lewis
Marko Stunt wins because I thought nobody would think that. So
there you go.
Swerve.
Yeah, but
bamboozled him.
Tim Donst and Lewis, or not Tim Donst.
Fired up Donst for the weekend too. We'll get there, but
yeah,
he was a little fired up Saturday.
Careful what you say about him on this podcast. We'll remind you about it over and over again.
Kid Kash.
We tag together. We're boys.
Okay.
Kid Kash, Lewis Lyndon. That rolls in next.
Oh yeah.
Captain of the
I
ship.
was so hyped to see Kid Kash. Let me just get that out of there. That was so cool.
Did it live up to the hype?
Oh hell yeah!
yeah, they did get like
Did you do a top rope Frankensteiner Friday, or did you do that Saturday?
I can't remember.
You did one. It was sick.
I think it might have been Saturday.
Him and Lyndon had a few miscues at first, but then then they got going.
But then they got going. Yeah.
But when that Kid Rock came on, like you
It's the feeling out process.
Oh no, the crowd was into it big time. They liked him. It was definitely a good move.
he's a good dude.
And he looks like a zillion bucks right now.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
He's all supplemented up.
Yeah, he told me about the subs. That's a Patreon exclusive.
Fish oil and chicken planks.
Exactly.
You guys and Kid Kash is like your version of
Take your time.
Josh Bishop. Who was Josh Bishop's supplement guide?
Guru, you would say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why can't I think of it?
I just know he was
Thorne,
dogging
Kevin
me
Thorne.
after. He was
Oh,
drinking
Kevin
like
Thorne.
he was literally at Nax
Sorry, that
Friday.
took
He
too
was
long.
drinking the darkest beer I've ever seen. It had to be a Guinness or something. He was drinking something so dark, and I was just drinking a light beer. He's like, "That's what you're drinking?" All right, man. It was like a Rolling Rock or something. I'm like, "I got a show tomorrow." Dude. He's like, shaking his
Is that
head
like a
at me.
Smittix or something?
I didn't have any real like interaction with Kid Kash, but at one point in time he was sitting at the gimmick table, and I was talking to Arthur MacArthur, and like I was a little drunk and energetic, and
No.
like I just started ranting at him about how like everyone's a coward anymore, and like no one will like grow out like their horseshoe anymore. And I was like, seriously, I fucking dye the shit out of this shit, fucking hoping that my hair will fall out so I can man up and have that fucking horseshoe. And like, I was just like on one for like a minute and a half straight, not stopping. And he was just like looking at me like, what the fuck? And laughing.
That sounds right.
It's kind of like how we look at you all the time.
Yeah, only like he wasn't going to pipe in. He was just like, whoever the fuck this guy is.
He must have gotten
He
some
was backing
sleep.
away slowly.
He had to have gotten some sleep because he was pleasant to deal with.
Yeah, he was in a good mood. He was telling me all sorts of Rock and Roll Express stories because that's how he broke in.
Yeah.
Kid Kash is a talker. That's just another thing that I remember.
Yeah.
He is a talker. Like he's another guy that will like, he'll get going on like stories and like it's just like
It's some wild Ricky Morton ones.
yeah, and it's talk about Patreon exclusive. Some of the stories he was telling. But yeah, so like that's
Change the names.
that's what's great about JLIT weekend is you could bring in all these random guys that we can't necessarily fit onto like a monthly event, and you get to spend time with them and you get to hear all these crazy fucking stories about how the business used to be, and that stuff I find so interesting.
So from there we go into another relaxed rules match. Matthew Justice and Danhausen go one-on-one. Derek Director and Eddie Only are out there, of course. lending support.
This was another good
production
one.
member. This was one of those rare times where you get to see Danhausen go one-on-one with somebody.
Yeah, and it's Danhausen continues to kind of raise his profile as a singles competitor. And I thought that these guys matched up very well, and they utilized like the other guys pretty well in the matches, as well. I mean, I thought that this one could have went either way, honestly, and it definitely exceeded my expectations.
I love Danhausen. I love the stuff that he does on Twitter with the videos.
Oh yeah, that shit's good.
That's so good.
So you love that Danhausen.
I do love that Danhausen.
And it's something just different that you're not seeing.
It's different, and it's quick, and it's just like weird as fuck. And he never says anything, so you're filling in the gaps in your brain, and stuff. It's so good, and he's a good worker, and he's probably gonna bypass Derek and Eddie quickly.
Oh, bold statement!
Wow,
That's what I think. I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that my disdain for face
I'm
paint
gonna
in
get some
modern
face
wrestling.
paint, get on that Danhausen train, and try to pull him into my stable. Teeth.
But Danhausen pulls it off.
Yeah, Dukehausen.
Dukehausen, yeah. Danhausen definitely pulls it off, and one thing now that you mentioned how quick those videos are, just the amount of time that he probably puts into 30-second, 60-second video.
I fucking asked him. I'm like, because he'll do one from Las Vegas just on vacation. I'm like, how long does it take you to fucking paint up? And then what's your skincare routine getting that?
It's
shit
just
off?
with his wife. With his wife doing the burlesque, their whole life is performance art. So it's just he probably can knock that thing out in like 5 minutes.
Speaking of fun facts behind the curtain, I guess about 8 or 9 years ago, old Danhausen actually skipped school somewhere in Indiana or wherever the hell to roll up to Cleveland and see a show at Now Let's Class, which I played.
Oh wow!
But just like that one he did for his birthday, when it's like you can't he's got the candles going and you can't see it, and then he picks his face up. He's got that creepy ass smile, and he's got the 666 candles on his birthday cake. I mean, it's like a 20-second video, and it's fucking genius.
Yeah, it probably takes so much time.
Yeah. But it's so good.
But God bless him for the 20-second video, because anything over that, and you're just gonna be like, I don't give a shit about this on Twitter.
Right.
You could just scroll.
Love that Danhausen.
Love that Danhausen.
Yeah.
Didn't pick up the victory. But
Danhausen and Dukehausen.
love him anyway. And then we go into maybe upset special here. Zach Thomas taking on Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, this was, everyone kind of heard, if you listen to the podcast, how this was the shining moment in the 7-year It show, which I thought was a complete disaster from a just production and presentation standpoint. So I figured let's give them a bigger stage, so to speak. And another thing I'll say, the ticket sales were a big concern going into this weekend. And it was definitely down compared to the other Odeon shows, but we ended up doing fairly decent for what it was. I wanted to address that because I know that was a big concern when we were building up to JLIT, and the Fight TV stuff certainly helped us kind of come out. I wouldn't say we came out on top, but we came out pretty close to even.
Yeah, Fight TV, we were where we wanted to be, and ticket sales, we would have liked more, but
yeah, we were certainly under. But
selling 3
we
shows in 2 days is fucking,
sure.
It's tough.
But it wasn't as
you
grim
Clevelanders got to get fucking.
But people see
get
that
more amped up.
People,
hyped.
Typical wrestling fan goes, I'm not going to pay $60 or $50 for 3 shows, but I'll pay $25 for each individual show.
Right.
It's like,
Well,
but wait a minute.
And
wait a
maybe
minute.
one thing that we can get back to on our end is, we talked about it last week when you and I sat down with the Goldsteins on that episode, and we talked about Absolution being a weekend and a destination thing. JLIT should be one of those as well.
Well, that's why I don't want to make Absolution
sure.
a weekend thing,
Yeah.
because you gotta, JLIT is always so shaky every
Right.
year, so it's like, we got to worry about one weekend. Let's
People
not worry
miss
about
out.
multiple.
I mean, if they don't come, they miss out because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We'll probably work in that
Absolutely stacked.
Absolution, softball game one of these years.
Oh, God.
Man.
Who's talking about
Worldwide
that?
wants it.
Worldwide, yeah.
Let's go.
I just want a local team. Period. That's like advertising right there.
Wow. Where are we at on this show?
Zach Thomas, Eddie
Oh, yes.
Kingston.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that
Very-
power bomb at the end of that fucking thing was breathtaking.
Did this live up to
Probably
your
literally.
expectations in terms of a rematch?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
especially they're a little bit more comfortable with each other.
Right.
So I would say this one was probably better than the first one.
Zach in general, even though it hadn't been maybe that long, but certainly he had more time in the ring, even with more people, and he could just be more comfortable in general.
Yeah, because Zach was at one point like I remember when he was first trying to train at other schools and stuff, and he was extremely shy, and like he wanted to wear a mask because he had stage fright. So like
Yeah.
to come from that to like where he's at now, where he has found his confidence, is it's pretty remarkable. And now he kind of knows that he can hang with guys like Eddie Kingston and some of these other people that he's getting in the ring with.
Yeah, that shyness is certainly wore off.
Scary almost.
So then we go into yet another relaxed rules match because old AJ Gray wanted to prove a point, and he had the rules relaxed to take on Nick Gage. And I don't.
A lot of people said that they liked this was one of their favorite matches
This
of the whole
was
weekend.
hard hitting. This was very hard hitting.
Cinder block.
Yeah,
AJ
cinder block was involved.
AJ Gray's got such a chip on his shoulder.
He does.
Definitely.
To just break out. He just wants to break out so bad, like
He's a break out of Twitter jail.
he'll probably be out by the time this airs.
Hashtag
Yeah.
free AJ. Now he'll
shit,
probably
I
be
do
back
gotta tweet
in by
that.
the time this airs.
Right.
He he wanted to prove for a long time. Everybody's like, wow, look at this massive dude doing all this flippy stuff, and he now wants to show I'm more than that. He wants to be able to say, hey, look, man, I can go with anybody. I don't have to sit here and do all this flip stuff. And you look at a Nick Gage match, and there's not necessarily a ton to it except for the meat and potatoes, but that meat and potatoes is done very well, and people love it. And AJ now wants to show, hey man, I could take your meat and potatoes and make it the most amazing dish you've ever had. And I think that's kind of what this
Yeah,
was.
and
with
he
these two.
he
It's a hell of a
continues.
metaphor there, Steve guy.
Did you like
That's
that?
good.
Yeah.
AJ
And I like
continu-
food too.
AJ continues to diversify himself,
Yeah.
and maybe this 40 acres thing is gonna be the best thing that ever happened to him for him to kind of come out of his shell a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go to the final match of the evening: Dominic Garrini, Erick Stevens. Erick Stevens returning after how long had he taken off of wrestling?
I think it was like
Was it
9, I think. he
9
said?
years. I think
9-10 years, right?
I think he says 9.
Yeah.
I think.
I sure didn't seem like it.
Yeah, he had just come back maybe a few months earlier.
I don't even think it was that long. I think it only been a couple weeks.
I think it was a month or two, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said before, like I've probably seen an Erick Stevens match before, but like I never really paid attention to Erick Stevens matches before
Yeah.
when he was in Ring of Honor and things like that. I was just kind of going off of people's excitement for this match, and 100% like how people reacted to his match at Beyond had a lot to do with him moving his way up kind of like the depth chart of possibilities. And then, guys like Tom Lawler and Dom were really went to bat for him. So I said, you know what? This is a weird name. Let's give it a shot. And,
Dom was amped as fuck.
yeah, Dom was really amped for it because Dom like loves like old Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and they had a hell of a match.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely Erick Stevens worked super hard. And based on his performance from this week, and obviously we couldn't work him in, to the Absolution kind of, stuff. But
Right.
I've given him all of the dates pretty much, except for I think he's not on the Janela date at the Winchester, but he is on all the majors through the end of the year. So Pod Van Dam, you can look forward to that.
And I think easy to
No
say,
shout outs. Come on.
Erick Stevens couldn't have been a better locker room dude.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Solid after
Love
party
having
brother
him
too.
around.
Oh, good after party brother. And the after party, that does have a lot to kind of
You can make a breaker, Phil.
it can make or break you in this environment, And
You're getting a little too crowded. I don't know. JLIT one was okay, but that Absolution one was packed.
hey man, people
JLIT
like the
one was
people
Never
like the
too
good
crowded,
company.
man. Never too crowded.
Oh,
The
never
other
too
one was
crowded.
that we went to Nax.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
that's
over
right.
there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
Yeah, we
sorry.
rolled over
Next
to Nax.
Yeah.
is too crowded.
Yeah, so Erick Stevens and Dom was great. Erick Stevens is a great after party guy. And that's when I really got to have some conversations with him, and after party's good for like feeling guys out.
Yeah.
And just like when fucking the one JLIT when Tom Lawler, that was his first weekend in, and I just drunkenly say, I'm giving you all the dates. It's kind of, I didn't say that to Erick Stevens then, but that was kind of my thought process.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, hey, we're going to be losing some guys, so he would be a good asset. He's very reasonably priced as far as fee, and he flies out of Sarasota, I believe, which it wasn't that bad the first time. We'll see how it is going forward, but
5 a.m.
Kash don't like those Knoxville 5 a.m.s.
Tell them to drive to Sarasota.
But then we quickly get everybody out of there so we could go to Nax.
Yeah, we had a good time at the after party.
Well, we forgot about wasn't night one. Was JLIT night one the night Tom Lawler danced atop?
Oh yes.
I know,
CAIW
you were
Arena?
correct. At intermission.
Yeah.
We come back from intermission, and I was ready to go back live again. You watched, if you watched it on the stream, you watched Josh Bishop and Matt Justice from our May show at the Odeon, the famed balcony spot, and then we were ready to come back. And you know what? I don't know what happened.
Lawler Lele.
Something happened with the ring. I needed some turnbuckles fixed by the students. And
I think Lawler wanted to do it no matter what.
thank goodness Tom Lawler was there.
I do like the live kick it to the booth at intermission.
You like it?
Yeah, I like
was
that.
something
I
time.
do
we
like
didn't-
that.
We didn't do until the next day.
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah. For the tag team show.
It sucks for like Wadsworth, who gets no break really, but
Wadsworth.
Well-
dude, it sucked for me.
you don't gotta go up there.
We didn't have anybody the next
gotta-
day.
I was grabbing-
told-
I was-
I'd have went up there if I would have known.
I was grabbing guys from the locker room saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
go get in line."
you told me to do it
By
that day, and I'm like,
absolution,
all right.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, you grabbed me at
Absolution was better. Day 2 of JLIT, I'd run back in the curtain, go bolt down that green room area, come out the balcony, sit there for intermission, run back down the green room area, walk out the curtain, and be like, all right, here we go.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I was fucking tired, man. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying.
I do like the.
It was a lot.
I do like the going live and breaking down the first half.
Yeah.
A little, jumping ahead. Absolution. That job was going to be the Weird World. We're going to
was.
be intermission correspondence until somebody no-showed Absolution.
I had a fucking bad summer flu. I can't apologize enough.
But I tell you what, people did really enjoy the Absolution tandem that they ended up with. A lot of Twitter talk about the grouping of Mance,
Mance and MJF.
and MJF on the intermission feed. But anyway, so back to the JLIT after party. Relatively tame. Things didn't get too crazy until we exited.
Arthur
Nax.
MacArthur, military pressed a guy.
Yeah, Arthur MacArthur.
Dr.
We was
Dan-
challenged by
Nax?
Tom Lawler, right?
told him to do it,
Yeah.
and then Dr. Dan's telling him not to do it,
Yeah, Dr. Dan and
and then like Tom's like, "I'll fuck you, Dan." And
It
It was Erick, wasn't it?
Yeah, Erick Taylor. It was the rookies were trying to get over at the
Yeah.
first JLIT weekend,
Wow.
and it was
know how
it
you
was-
Tom
get
Lawler turned them into trained monkeys.
some people
making them
did some
dance for
poppers.
their amusement.
Some people did some poppers, got those popper muscles going.
I'll help Dr. Dan. One thing for Dr. Dan. You know how you get over rookies? You make sure that the ring crew
This-
is completely done before showing up to an after party.
the only real
Did he actually say that?
No, I was helping him out
Oh.
because it needed to be said.
The one thing I do remember from the after party was I kept going up to Dr. Dan and giving him a tug
You took the hairpiece.
on the hairpiece. He really had it on there, though. I kept every time I saw him, I gave him a real good yank.
Well, Mance stapled it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Stapled it
now.
right to his head. Yeah.
That makes
I
sense
probably
now.
saw
Yeah.
that staple, and you're right.
But yeah, then we go to the after party and the after at the
After,
hotel.
No, before
Which-
the after party,
Oh.
when we exited Nax,
Yeah, there was a
and-
There was a parking lot match between the Stunt brothers and Nick
Gage and Eddie Kingston.
Yikes.
I tried to videotape it, but there was bad
we
light.
didn't have enough light. Yeah, Nick Gage made me do full-on introductions for everybody. Come on,
And when you say made you, I probably think that's the best way you could describe
absolutely,
that. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
JLIT's pick.
It wasn't
Oh,
a
the ghost of
suggestion.
JLIT's
It was
Best.
not. It was not a suggestion. It's a real fucking
What?
match.
Well, what do you?
So at the hotel, there's what
I did not go to the hotel.
What we later deemed the ghost of JLIT's past. There was just some
How
man.
dark you want to get?
There was just some man walking around following us. We don't know who he was, or if he was there for the JLIT, or if he was a ghost.
He's allegedly a podcast listener.
But he said he just kept going, "How dark you guys want to get tonight?"
And then just talking about
it was getting real dark.
Was
So
this American Horror Story JLIT?
so like we were all we were all a little nervous.
He was definitely at the after party, and he was definitely had,
Talking to me about
had
some shit.
he had a stage seat at the show.
He was at the hotel.
How dark do you want to get?
He just came into one of
Well,
those.
if you gotta ask, I mean,
He came into one of the hotel rooms. He said, "How dark you guys
Listen,
want to get tonight?"
When you make worldwide uneasy,
yeah.
that's
but yeah, it was.
Worldwide's a little nervous. Like I don't know if I
it
want
was
to get
like a
this up.
sadness like competition that no one was going to win,
but
even though they could. But they
the
weren't gonna.
usual hotel antics that probably shouldn't be discussed on the podcast. And I know that I went home when the sun was up. So
I think I ended up with like 2.5 hours of sleep.
No, I went home bright and early. I was home by about 2, I think, because I didn't go to the hotel.
yeah,
Remember
so
who I had in my car?
that's the thing that sucks though
Eddie.
is like you got to wake up early for that fucking early day show.
Well, that's
you know?
why I went. That's why I went home.
Oh, yeah. I woke up the next day, getting ready to pull out from my house, and as I'm ready to leave and suited up, that's when old Eddie Kingston walks out my front door. I see him pop a squat. It's the first moment I knew that he was alive that day, just smoking cigs. And that was my parting gift as I went on to day 2.
Because I don't remember how much of it I did, but I'm pretty sure Flanagan and I did the majority
Who's
of.
that?
Wadsworth.
Oh, Wadsworth. Sorry. Let me. 3, 2. So I think Wadsworth and I did most of the tag show.
Well,
That
we'll
sounds
get
right.
we'll get to that on
I
another
think.
day.
We'll get to
'Cause
that
no, I'm
another
saying
day.
that's probably why I went home. I
Yeah.
think.
So we'll hop that on next week or in coming weeks. We may just finish JLIT and then
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. You'll figure it out by listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and we don't have any final thoughts because we'll wrap those up when we wrap up the weekend. But thanks to Wes Barkley, Worldwide, the Duke, John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy, and we'll talk to you next week right here on The Card Is Going to Change.
Free AJ Gray if he hasn't already been fucking freed off of the Twitter jail.